How money change people. It doesn't matter if you were born wealthy or you win the lottery. Money can affect the way you act, and some of those effects can be inherently negative. Still, by being conscious about the social pitfalls of wealth, such as lack of compassion, the conflict between classes, isolation, and deterioration of ethics, you can protect yourself from being affected by some of the negative aspects of having money. While there's an abundance of evidence that money does in fact change people, your mileage may vary. There are a number of socioeconomic factors that could skew study results, including age, race, education level, location, and personal attitudes toward money. It's true that being considered wealthy may change the way you think, but it can't change your genetics, identity, propensity for hard work, or family history. In the end, your ideals and values likely determine more about you than the size of your paycheck. How money affects human behavior. From your relationships to the way you view yourself, cash can have a serious bearing on your beliefs. There are numerous pieces of scientific evidence behind the idea that money truly can change people. 1. Self-perception. The amount you earn could have an effect on how you view both yourself and others. A study from 2013 asked individuals to rate things such as class, genetics, and even IQ. When the results were analyzed, they were defined as an individual's sense of class essentialism. That is, the idea that differences between classes are based upon identity and genetics, rather than circumstance. The wealthiest respondents were those with the deepest sense of class essentialism. Poor people tended to believe that class was not related to genes and that essentially, anyone can be rich and anyone can be poor. Rich people, on the other hand, were more likely to believe that wealth was part of genes and identity and that they were entitled to wealth based upon their personal circumstances and actions. Wealthy respondents also believed that, more or less, life is fair and people mostly get what they deserve. 2. Ethics. A 2012 study published in an issue of Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences of the United States of America asked if wealth and perception of a higher class could increase an individual's involvement in unethical behavior. From cutting off another vehicle at a stop sign to cheating at a game to taking more candy than offered, the wealthiest subjects were those most likely to break the rules, even when a researcher indicated that taking more candy would result in less for children. The study noted that those who perceived themselves to be in a higher class were the most likely to engage in unethical behavior, particularly when a symbol of wealth was introduced, such as cutting off a pedestrian when in a luxury car, for example. The study labeled the behavior, self-interest maximization, an idea that suggests those who have the most money or occupy higher classes are more likely to work toward the most benefit for themselves. The study points out that these individuals make excellent business leaders since they often work the hardest to get the most out of a contract or job. 3. Self-sufficiency and service. Those who are conscious of money typically strive to be more self-sufficient than those for whom money isn't a priority. A psychology study was structured around monopoly money. One group of subjects entered a room that had several reminders of money, such as Monopoly cash on the table, statements about money, and even financial conversation. The second group of subjects entered a room where money wasn't mentioned, and both were issued a test. When given a very difficult and even impossible task, with instructions that help was available, it was the money-related group that seemed the most intent on getting the job done alone, even when it was not possible to finish the task solo. The non-money group, on the other hand, tended to ask for assistance. The study concluded that money-conscious individuals are more self-sufficient than their peers, particularly when money is made the focus. 4. Addiction. Many addictions begin because a person gets a positive response from a certain type of behavior. Whether it's a happy feeling you get from shopping or a thrill that comes from gambling, actively seeking out that behavior again and again for the same outcome can trigger an addiction. This is called a compulsive behavior not motivated by dependency on an addictive substance, but rather by a process that leads to a seemingly positive outcome. Earning money can be very addictive for some individuals. That high of a big check or a well-padded savings account can become life's sole purpose. The positive feeling that follows obtaining money can cause a chemical reaction in the brain that feels good. In turn, it can result in a severe preoccupation with money and put a strain on relationships outside of those that relate to earning more. Worried about money?